Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Hello. Okay, great. We'll be starting today's session. Happy Ganesh Chaturthi in, sorry, delayed. Okay, great. So let us start. Today will be a bit of revision in the first 5-10 minutes, and then I will be continuing further. So we have got this question over here. Sine of limit x tends to 0. Sine of pi times cos square tan of sine of x. So how should we do it? Can anyone tell me? How should we do this one? Gayatri, Ashrita, Vignesh, what should we do?
Differentiation, sir.
Differentiation of such a long function? Just a minute. Yeah. So you told me to differentiate. Differentiation of such a long function will be really tedious, right? It will be a really tedious thing to do. No, it has got nothing to do with differentiation. So first of all, let us just like bluntly put in the values. Just like just blunt put the values of x. So obviously your denominator is going to 0, and let us look at your
0 by 0.
sine. Okay, so it is sine of pi into cos square of tan of sine x. So tan of sine x will be 0. So into cos square of 0. What is cos square of 0? What is cos square 0?
1.
1. Okay. So it is basically sine of pi divided by 0. So sine of pi is also 0. So, okay. So yes, it is 0 by 0. So one thing like what I can see in the problem is that there is a pi. Okay. So inside the sine, there is a pi. This whole thing, pi. Pi times 1. So it is basically sine of pi. Somewhere around sine of pi. Okay. The input of sine has sine of pi inside it. So I can't be ignoring my sine function over here. I can't ignore my sine function. If all of you remember, I can ignore sine of f of x. I can ignore my sine only if my f of x was tending to, tell me, does any of you remember? When can I do it? When can I ignore my sine function? When do I ignore my sine function? Anyone?
X tends to 0.
Okay, correct. Like f of x tends to 0, right?
Yes, sir.
F of x tends to 0. Okay, correct. So can you think what can I do so that my whatever is inside my sine tends to 0? How is that thing possible? Currently, it is tending to pi. So what can I do? What should I do so that it can tend to 0? Can you think? What should I do so that it tends to 0? So it is really simple. All of you remember this property? Sine of x is equal to sine of pi minus x. Does all of you know this trigonometry? Sine of x is equal to sine of pi minus x. Is this correct, everyone? Okay. You don't know? Like you have studied trigonometry or not studied?
Yes,
Please
sir.
repeat something. Okay, so you have studied this property, right?
Yes,
Sine
sir.
x is equal to sine of pi minus x. So, like instead of x, you can put this whole thing, cos square of tan of sine x. Okay. So in place of x, you should put this whole thing, pi of cos square of tan of sine x. So let us see what will happen. So now I have got sine of pi minus pi cos square tan of sine x. Do you recognize something? What will happen? pi minus pi cos square? What is pi minus pi cos square? What can I write it as? I can write it as sine of pi into 1 minus cos square. What is 1 minus cos square? 1 minus cos square theta.
Sine
What is it?
Sin square theta.
Okay. So now it
sine
becomes pi sine square tan of sine x. Is this correct, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now it changes to limit x tends to 0, sine of pi sine square tan of sine x whole divided by x square. Is this correct, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Everyone? Okay. So now I want you to solve this question. Tell me, how should we do this? I have sine of pi of sine square of tan of sine x. Can we do it? Vignesh?
We substitute x is equal to 0, sir.
Okay. Like you can bluntly put in the values and you can check what will happen to this thing, what is inside this sign. You can check it. Where will it tend to? You can check it. Okay. So we have sine of pi into sine square of tan of sine x. So it will be sine square of 0. What is sine square of 0? Sine square 0?
0.
Sine square 0? 1.
0, sir.
Sine square 0 is okay, 0.
0, sir.
So it is sine of 0 into 0, right? Pi into 0 is 0 only. So now it is converting into sine 0 by 0. Sine of 0 by 0. So is it in the form that I needed? Sine of 0 by 0. Like it is in this form. Sine of 0 whole divided by 0. So now is it helpful for me in any form? Is it helpful now?
Yes, sir.
Why is it helpful? Why is it helpful?
Sine x by x formula.
Okay, sine x by x, correct. Or one more thing is that if the input of sine, if the input of sine has been tending to 0, so I can just easily ignore my sine function, right? I hope you all remember that trick, small trick. Okay. So you can just ignore your sine function. So this will become pi of sine square tan of sine x whole divided by x square. Again, we have got a sign over here. So you can ignore this sign also. So you have got pi tan sine x, right? Or rather, it should be tan square sine x whole by x square. Why should it be tan square and not tan? Can anyone tell me? Maybe Ashrita, can you tell me? Why is it tan square over here? I am ignoring the sign. So why is it coming out to be tan square of sine x? Or anyone? Vignesh? Vignesh? No. Gayatri? No one knows. See, because this is sine of tan of sine x. See, it is the whole square, right? So if I'm assuming that my sine got lost, so the square is still there. So the square should be put over here, right? The square should remain. You all have not revised. That is why all of you don't know why we are removing this sine function. Just taught it in the previous class. Okay. So again, now you can again remove your this function. So you have got pi into sine square x by x square. And you already know what will happen. Sine square x by x square. What will it be?
1.
1.
1.
So pi into 1. Answer will be first option. Fine. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us look at this question. This question is also like one really tough one. Tough as in, I mean, okay. So we have cos of sine x minus cos x divided by x raised to 4. limit x tends to 0. So which form is this, first of all?
0 by
Which
0.
form? 0 by 0. Okay. Why? Because cos of 0 minus cos of 0. Okay, so yes. Cos 0 minus cos 0 will be 0 only for sure. So yes, correct. So can you think how we should approach this question? So see, in the first case, I have I have cos of something minus cos of something else. So do you all remember the formula of cos A minus cos B? What is it? Cos A minus cos B. Formula. Anyone? Cos A minus cos B.
Cos A cos B minus sin A sin B.
Sin B.
Cos A cos B. Uh, are you sure what you're saying?
minus
No
2
one
sin
remembers.
A plus D by
Yes.
minus 2
2
sin A
sin
plus B by 2 sin
uh,
A minus B by 2.
sin A minus B by 2. Right? That's what you say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, correct. So can you think what will be those A and B over here? What will be your A and B in this case? Your values of A and B fast.
Sin X and X.
A is sin X and B is X.
X.
Okay.
X is
So I have got minus 2 sine A plus B by 2. Okay. A plus B by 2 into sine A minus B by 2 whole divided by x raised to 4. So obviously it was in 0 by 0 form, so it will still remain in 0 by 0 form. But now, have I got something that can help me? Is there something in this that can help me? I am able to see it. I hope all of you should be able to see it. So for the ones who don't remember, just see this trick. If I have sine of f of x and I know that f of x is tending to 0, so what should I do? I should ignore my sine.
Yes.
Everyone agrees? I can ignore my sine. My sine function I can ignore. So why don't you do the same thing over here? I have inside my sine, I have sine x plus x by 2. Right? So what is sine x plus x by 2 tending to? Where is it going to? Sine x plus x by 2.
0.
What about sine x minus x by 2? Sine x
0.
minus x by 2. Okay.
0.
So I can just ignore both of these sine functions. So it will be minus 2 by x raised to 4 into sine x plus x into sine x minus x. Great. Something like we have got a lot more easier than what it was before. So now, how do we do this? How do we solve this? We have sine x plus x and sine x minus x. What should we do?
A plus B
Anyone?
and F.
A
Sin square
square,
plus
okay.
x square
Sine
minus x.
square minus x square. How will that help? Like I'm just asking you, how will that help?
Sir, A plus B into A minus B.
No, I am asking how will that help? Like I am not okay. So I know that A plus B and A minus B you can work it like that. But how is this thing going to work for you? Like how will this thing help? One thing you can try here is you can like try differentiating this because it is 0 by 0 form. So you can differentiate your numerator and denominator. So this thing will be 2 sine x cos x minus 2x whole by 4x cube. So this thing is sine of 2x, right? It is sine of 2x. Or, okay, so again, it came out to be 0 by 0 form. So you can differentiate it again. So minus 2, it will be 2 cos 2x minus 2 whole divided by, what will it be? it will be 12x square. Again, it is 0 by 0 form. So again, you can differentiate it. So minus 2 into minus 4 sine of 2x, okay, whole divided by 24x. Okay, great. So we have arrived at the answer. Does any one of you feel that we have arrived at the answer? We have got at this step. So I hope we are at the answer now. Have all of you understood what we have done? So we did this thing, minus 2 by x raised to 4 sine square minus x square. Okay. After that, we got 0 by 0 form. So what did I do over here? What did I do over here? Can anyone tell me? Which rule did I apply here? Yes, L'Hopital's rule, right? You can apply L'Hopital's rule. You all know what is L'Hopital's rule? What is it? What does the L'Hopital's rule say? What does it say? It says that if you have 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity form, so you can differentiate your numerators and denominators. So currently, I know that you don't know differentiations because you are not revised. So not an issue. So if you don't know differentiations, you can just look at the answer for the time being. When later on we will learn differentiation, at that time you can do it. But see, it has got really long. Okay, like the question has got really long. So we have at the final step we have arrived at this thing. So minus 2 into minus 4 sine of 2x. So this thing can be written as 8 into sine of 2x divided by 24x. So can you now evaluate the limit? Limit x is tending to 0. Can you evaluate the limit now? So I can just ignore my sine function. So it is 8 into 2x by 24x. Is this correct, everyone? Everyone?
Yes.
So how much is it? Just a minute. So minus 2 sine square. Okay. We made a mistake over here. Does anyone of you think we made a mistake in the step we came from here to here? See, inside the sine, we had sine x plus x by 2. So we forgot to take that 2. So the whole answer will be divided by 4 actually. Into 4, into 4, into 4. Okay. Into 4. So into 4 over here also. So 4, 4, 2. So my answer will be 1 by 6. Fine. Okay, so this was one approach, but you can see it went really long. Like we needed to differentiate this thing 3 times. Can you think of any other approach after we have arrived at this thing? So we have basically arrived at minus of uh, sine square x minus x square by 2x raised to 4. We have arrived over here. Can you think of any other approach that can lead you to the answer? Anyone? Seems like you are not revised at all today. See, one approach is using the L'Hopital's rule, and it went absolutely correct. But the only issue was that it went really long. You needed to differentiate it 3 times. And after that, you got your answer. So if you can think of any other thing that you can be doing over here. So we are left with minus 1 by 2 x raised to 4 into sine x plus x into sine x minus x. Can you think? Anyone? Okay. So if you can't think, so I'll be telling you. So like it is really easy. Just think sine x as an infinite polynomial. What was the infinite polynomial expansion of sine x? Can anyone tell me? What was the polynomial expansion of sine x? The infinite one in the last sequence and series chapter we had learned. So it was x minus x cubed by 3 factorial plus x raised to 5 by 5 factorial and so on. Okay. Yes. So let us just substitute our sine x over here. So it is minus 1 by 2 x raised to 4 into sine x plus x. So sin x plus x. So 2x minus x cubed by 3 factorial. Currently, I'll be just taking it up to the third power because higher order terms will get cancelled anyways. So now I have sin x minus x. So sin x minus x. So it will be minus x cubed by 3 factorial plus so on. Can you see a relation over here? Can you see a relation? Okay. So tell me what should I be what should I cancel out now? So I have x raised to 4 over here, and I have a polynomial over here and another polynomial over here. Tell me something. So when I multiply these two polynomials, or rather, should I not multiply? So I have x raised to 4, right? So I can just send an x over here and an x cube over here. So can you just tell me what will happen if I send an x inside? What if I divide it by x? It will be 2 minus
2 minus
x cubed
X
by
square by
x square by 3 factorial and so on, higher order terms. Okay. What about this side? Minus 1 by 3 factorial and higher order terms, right? Is this correct, everyone?
yes, sir.
And now we have limit extends to 0. So all your higher order terms, where will they go? Where will they go? Higher order terms. X is tending to 0.
0.
0, correct. So I'm just left with minus half into 2 into minus 1 by 3 factorial. What is the value of 3 factorial? Anyone? 3 factorial.
6,
6.
6, correct. 3 into 2 into 1, correct. So again, I got my same answer, 1 by 6. I feel this method was a lot easier. Like rather than differentiating the same thing 4 times, you can go by any method, okay? And it is a PYQ of JE only. It is in JE 2023 mains. So you can go by any method. If you wish to differentiate it 4 times, you can. But if you feel that differentiating something 4 times is longer, you can write it as the infinite expansion and then go ahead. Okay. Okay, great. So this was all about revision. So now we were the last time we were discussing about infinity by infinity form. So just one question to initiate infinity by infinity form. I have limit n tends to infinity 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on up to n whole divided by n square. Or just 1 minute, I'll make the question little bit tougher. Okay, divided by n cube. Okay, this is n cube in the denominator. So do you all know what is the sums of squares of first n natural numbers? Sums of squares.
N
First
into
n
n
natural
plus
numbers.
1 into 2n plus 1 by 6.
Great. Correct. I hope all of you remember. Don't keep forgetting things, okay? Because they will be used in the future also. What is it? N into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by
2n plus
6.
1.
By 6. And there is an n cube over here also. Right? Right, everyone?
yes,
So now,
sir.
how do you evaluate this limit? How can you evaluate this thing? Tell me. You have a polynomial at the top. You have a polynomial, or rather just n cube at the bottom. So what can you do? And obviously, it is infinity by infinity form. Like it is quite obvious there is infinity by infinity form. So there was a trick for infinity by infinity form. Any of you remember? What is the trick for infinity by infinity? What is the trick for infinity by infinity form? When you have a polynomial at the top and a polynomial at the bottom.
Coefficient of higher power in the numerator.
Correct, correct. Great, absolutely correct. So can you tell me what is the coefficient and what is the highest power at the top? When you multiply these three terms,
1.
n plus 1, and 2n plus 1, when you multiply these three terms, what will be the highest power that you can get
N
of
cube.
n? What? Okay, n
Yes.
cube. And along with that, what will be the coefficient?
2.
2, correct, right? Because you can see you have an n over here, you have an n over here, and you have 2n over here. So obviously you will be taking these three things together. So you will be getting 2n cube. And in the denominator, you have 6n
Yes.
cube,
Yes, yes.
right? 6n cube. So it
1
will
by
be, it will turn out to be 1 by
1/3.
1/3, sir.
Okay. So let us just increase the power by 1. So you have 1 cube, 2 cube, so on, n cube whole by n raised to 4. So can you think? First of all, what is the formula for sums of cubes of first n natural numbers?
N
N
square into
square
x
Sums
into
of cubes.
whole square.
by 4.
Yes, sir.
By 4.
Now, what is the highest power at the top?
N cube.
N cube,
n.
okay.
N raised to 4,
raised
sir.
to 4. N
4.
raised
N
to
raised to
4.
4. Okay, correct. N raised to 4 is the right answer. So n raised to 4, okay, correct. But what is the coefficient along with it?
1, sir.
1.
1.
So because you have an n
1 by
square over here, and yes, you have an n square over here. So it is n raised to 4 by 4 n raised to 4. So obviously our answer is 1 by
4.
right. Okay. So now you all know the trick. You all remember the trick. So if you remember the trick, let us do the topmost question. See, I know the question looks a little bit tough, but it is not actually. I'll just zoom in for you. So I hope all of you are able to see this question. Okay. So you have square root 3x plus 1 plus square root 3x minus 1 whole to the power of 6 plus this thing into x cube by this thing. So can you guess it? Anyone? So obviously, like the same thing. First of all, it is infinity by infinity form, right? It is infinity by infinity. Everyone agrees?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So obviously, so it is infinity by infinity. So if it is infinity by infinity, what do? We take out the maximum powers. That is what we do.
Yes.
Okay. So now the game starts. How do you take out the maximum power? That is tough. That is seriously tough. How do you take out the maximum powers in this case? Like if you remember that day we had solved a question, I'll just see if I can open that. It was 5th September. Yeah, this one. I hope all of you remember this. Square root of x square plus 1 minus cube root of x cube plus 1. Then we add all of this. Remember everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you
Yes,
remember.
sir.
So you know we had to take out the maximum power. So maximum power along with the root and the coefficient. So we had done this one more example. This 4x square plus 4 whole to the power of half.
Yes.
So we just take out the maximum coefficient with the maximum power and then this power outside. Okay. So let us see if we can do this thing over here. So I have square root of 3x plus 1. What is the maximum I can take out from it? Square root of 3x plus 1. Anyone? Tell me fast. What is the maximum I can take out? So obviously it is square root of 3x plus 1. So it will be 3x to the power of half. Right? That is what I can take out the maximum. The same thing from the second bracket. 3x whole to the power of half. And then this whole thing, this whole combined thing is raised to the power of 6. Then we have plus 3x plus 1 square root. So again, 3x power of half minus 3x power of half whole to the power of 6 whole divided by x plus Okay, so x will remain as it is, plus x square whole to the power of half, right? It is in square root. Whole to the power of 6 plus x minus x square whole to the power of half whole raised to power of 6. And then we have then we have x cube and multiplied. So does every one of you agree this is what we will get? Everyone?
Yes,
Or
sir.
do you want to revise that question first? Do you want to look at the question first? The one that we did that day? That day?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to look at it. Fine. See, that is why I ask you to come revised. So where were you busy yesterday? I guess in celebrations, right? Ganesh Chaturthi. Okay. So just look at this question. So you have 4x square plus 4 whole to the power of half. So what do? You take this maximum power 4x square and then just take the coefficient with it. Sorry, the power with it. Coefficient and x square along with the power. Then you take this thing 2x 27x cube whole to the power of 1 by 3. This whole thing with you. Okay. So just take the maximum thing, the maximum power along with its coefficient and raise it to its power. That is how you solve the question. So x raised to 4 whole raised to 1 by 5. So you got this thing. Okay. Fine. So do you see something over here? I see something over here. See, 3x whole to the power of half minus 3x whole to the power of half. What will happen? What will happen to this thing? Tell me what will happen?
2 3x whole to the
It
power
will
of
it will go to 0. Correct. Same. What about x minus x square? What is x square to the power of half? What is it? X square to the power of half.
X to raised
Arey
to
yaar,
1.
why is it
X, sir.
x raised to 1? Yes. So x minus x, this will also go to 0.
0.
Got it, everyone? So now we are left with 2 into 3x whole to the power of half whole to the power of 6, right? Over here. And then we have x cube. Then we have divided by uh, 2x whole to the power of 6. Everyone, right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can just do the calculations now. You can just do the calculations now, right? Or should I do it for you? Okay. So this 2 and 2 can get cancelled because they are in the same power. So now we have 3 raised to 6 into x cube whole by x raised to 6. So this thing will turn out to be 1. Uh, okay, was it 3? Oh, sorry. It was not 3 to the power of 6. What was it? It was not 3 to the power of 6. What was it? Anyone? Power
3
of
cube.
3, right?
Sir.
3, it was, yes. It was 3 cube, not 3. So 27 is my final answer. Everyone, this is also PYQ only.
Yes, sir.
2023. You have seen this question? Okay, great. Great if you have seen it. So, like, so the trick is working, right? I hope you all agree that the trick is working. It is working on PYQ questions also. Okay. Otherwise, you could have stuck really long doing this question. Like maybe you could have opened the brackets using binomial theorem or something like that, but it will go really long. Okay. So today we will be discussing about one more case, indeterminate form. It is infinity minus infinity form. So infinity minus infinity form will work like a government bank. Okay. What happens in a government bank when you enter? When you go at one counter, they ask you to go at another counter. right? That is how a government bank works. You go at one counter, they will ask you, redirect you to another counter. Then you go there, they redirect you to somewhere else. So what is infinity minus infinity form? So whenever you have infinity minus infinity form, always go for rationalization. Okay. So whenever you have infinity minus infinity form, so always rationalize the thing and convert it to infinity divided by infinity. Infinity minus infinity is not equal to zero. So if you need an example for this, I can give you. Uh, so, okay, I'll just ask you a very simple question for this. So I ask you to calculate the number of real numbers between 0 and 1. Okay. What are the number of real numbers between 0 and 1? 0 and 1 both are not inclusive. What is it?
Sir,
How much? Infinity,
infinity.
correct. Okay, correct. So between 0 and 1, you have infinitely many real numbers. Now, I ask you between 0 and 1 inclusive. So how many real numbers are there?
Sir, infinity, sir.
Correct. So now I ask you to subtract both of these cases. Think of this case as A and think of this case as B. Now, how many numbers are there that are present in this set B, but they are not present in this set A? How many numbers are there?
One, sir.
One.
There is only one number, right? And that is my
Yeah.
number 1.
Yes, sir.
So the number of numbers in my case B, how much was it? In my case B, how many numbers did I have? I had infinite numbers, right? In my case of A, how many numbers did I have? Infinite.
Infinity.
Infinity plus one.
Infinity.
And how many? Okay, infinite plus 1. Okay, great, great. So what is infinite plus 1? Like, okay, so if you want to write it as like this, so like you should have a number for this, right? You should have a number for this thing. I am asking you the number. Like your point is correct. You are saying infinite plus 1. But then you should have a number for infinity plus 1. What is that number? Vignesh,
Yes, sir.
you don't have a number for infinity plus 1, right? Or do you have?
No, sir.
You don't have a number for infinity plus 1. So obviously it is infinity only. Like there is no number for infinity plus 1. So like that, I can create many such numbers. I can create infinity plus 1, infinity plus 2, infinity plus 2 by 7, anything I can create if you wish to create like that. But actually infinity plus anything is infinity only. So obviously the numbers in B are also infinity. But how many numbers do I get at end? When I subtract both of these cases, how many do I get?
One.
One.
Okay. So in this case, should I say that infinity minus infinity is 1? In this case, yes, I can say. So now let me just change the case. So I'll take this case as 1. I'll take another case, case 2. So your A set, it is between 0 and 2. Okay. So how many numbers between 0 and 2, right? Infinity? Everyone agrees? Infinity?
Yes, sir.
Infinite cases? Infinite real numbers? Okay. Okay. So now let me just take it 1 and 2. So how many numbers do I have in between?
Infinity, sir.
Okay. And when I subtract my B and A, what do I get? When I subtract B, like, or rather let us take it as A minus B. So the numbers you have in A, but you don't have in B. How many numbers do you have? So this is between 0 and 2, okay? And this is between 1 and 2. So all numbers between 0 and 1. Is this correct, everyone? And rather 1 is inclusive also, right? Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if this is correct, so in A you had infinite numbers. In B you had infinite numbers, and now again you have infinite numbers. So infinity minus infinity is equal to infinity. Oh my God, ये तो यार नया ही फॉर्मूला ला दिया है ना? So all of you now agree that infinity minus infinity is an indeterminate form.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you agree. Great. Bhavna?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So infinity minus infinity is not zero. It is a number. Fine. So, okay. So just remember this thing that whenever you fall into a case where you have infinity minus infinity, so always convert it to infinity divided by infinity using rationalization. So let me just give you a really quick question. So we have square limit n tends to infinity, square root of n square plus 3n plus 2 minus square root of n square plus 2n plus 1. Okay. Okay. So it is infinity minus infinity, obviously. Right? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
So how can you convert it to infinity by infinity? What should be your procedure of rationalizing it? What can you do to rationalize it? So just treat this thing as A, this thing as B. So you can multiply it with A plus B and square root of A plus B, right? So
Yes,
what
sir.
will happen in the numerator? What will happen in the numerator?
Uh,
Hmm? Tell me, what will happen in the numerator?
A minus B, sir.
B will
Okay,
remain, sir.
correct. A minus B, right?
Yes,
Right?
Yes.
sir.
Because you're squaring. And then you
Sir.
have square root A plus square root B.
Yes.
So, right. So let us just try this thing over here. So your A is your n square plus 3n plus 2. So you have n square plus 3n plus 2 minus n square plus 2n plus 1 whole divided by square root of this thing plus square root of this thing. So in the numerator, your n square got cut. So what is the thing left in the numerator? What is it? It is n plus 1, right?
N plus 1, sir.
Whole divided by square root of n square plus 3n plus 2 plus square root of n square plus 2n plus 1. So congratulations. Have we successfully converted it to infinity by infinity form?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have converted it to infinity by infinity form. If we have successfully converted it to infinity divide by infinity form, so can I now apply my trick of infinity by infinity?
Yes, sir.
So what was my trick of infinity by infinity? Tell me.
Maximum power and coefficient.
Right. So in the numerator you have n. In the denominator you have n square whole to the power of half. And then you have n square whole to the power of half.
Half.
So what is it? It's half, right? My whole thing is half. Really simple, right? This one was really easy. Got it? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, great. I mean, infinity minus infinity, wherever you see, you can just easily apply this. So now you have square root of a square x square plus ax plus 1 minus square root of a square x square plus 1. So obviously treat this as a, this as b. So you have square root of
Rationalization.
a minus square root of b. So this can be written as a plus b, right? What was it? A minus b by
Root A plus
square
root
root a plus.
Root
Okay,
B.
okay, great. So just write it as this and see what will happen. So you have a minus b. So a minus b, in the numerator you will get ax, in the denominator you will get square root of a square x square plus ax plus 1 plus square root a square x square plus 1. It will revise you for the trick also, I guess. So what if I'm now applying my trick? So it is first of all, it is infinity divided by infinity form. Okay, it is
Yes, sir.
infinity divided by infinity. So I will apply my trick taking the highest powers. So take the highest power at the top. What will happen? What is the highest power I have at the top?
One.
1, sir. 1.
1.
1, right? X raised to 1. So along with that, will I need to take a also?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. What about the first term in the denominator? First term denominator.
A is
Yes,
x
A
square
square
to 1.
is 1 by 2. 1 by 2.
Okay, what about this? Same thing.
Same, sir.
Same, sir.
So ax by uh, ax
2x.
plus ax, so 2ax. So half,
1 by 2.
right? Correct?
Yes,
sir.
Okay, great. So now let us do this one also. This one, I guess you will be able to do. So here x is tending to minus infinity, okay? And now you have square root of 25x square minus 3x plus 5x. Is this infinity minus infinity, first of all?
Yes, sir.
This is infinity minus infinity. Why? There is a plus sign. There is a plus sign in the starting.
Minus infinity.
Like correct, correct. So it is minus. So this right hand thing, 5x is actually minus infinity only. And the square root, anything inside square root is positive only. So yes, the square
Yes,
root always returns a positive value. I hope all of you remember relations and functions.
yes,
The
sir.
square root will always return a positive value. Okay. So let us solve it. So now we have a special case. We have square root a plus square root b, right? So like it will work again. So now it can be written as a minus b
A
divided by square root a minus square root b,
square root B.
right? So first of
Yes,
all, what is my a? What is my a over here? My value of a and b. Can you tell me? A
under
is
root
really
of
simple, right? No, no.
Root
My a is not square root. It is directly 25x square minus 3x, right?
20x square minus 3x.
And what is my value of b?
5x.
5x. Is my value of b 5x?
No,
How much is it?
5x whole square.
5x whole square, right? 25x square. Correct. So just apply this thing over here. So I have limit extends to minus infinity. I have a minus b whole divided by square root a minus square root b. So what will be my value of square root b? What will
Under
it
root
be?
5.
5x,
Under
sir.
root?
5x.
How much? Okay,
5.
correct. Correct, correct. See, just understand. My square root of b value is 5x. So my b is actually 25x square. Okay, understand this. Is it fine? Vignesh, I guess you made an error over there.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So first of all, okay, तो चलो पहले तो इसको ठीक करते हैं. So in the numerator, I have minus 3x divided by square root of 25x square minus 3x. Okay, minus 5x. Which form is this, first of all? Which form is this? This is minus infinity by infinity. Is this minus infinity?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'll just give you options. Is this infinity by
Infinity by
infinity,
infinity,
minus
sir.
infinity by minus infinity, or is this infinity by minus infinity? Which of these is this?
Infinity by infinity.
Sure. Sure. Bhavna, Gayatri, Sravani, Vignesh,
Yes, sir.
what do you think?
Yes, sir. First,
So
infinity
infinity
by
by infinity.
Correct. Correct. It is infinity by infinity. See, there is a minus at the starting, doesn't mean that it is minus infinity, because my value of x is also in the minus now. So this minus and minus. So yes, it is infinity by infinity only. And can you just think of one thing? Like I just wanted to know from you only. If in any case, okay, in any problem, I give you a question which is of this form, how do you solve this? Like, this is an indeterminate form for sure. Minus infinity by infinity is also an indeterminate form. But how will you solve it? Like, if in any question you get a form something like this, how would you do it?
By taking common minus.
Yes, exactly. So you can take minus common, then this solve for infinity by infinity, and then apply this minus on the answer, right? It is allowed.
yes,
Minus is just a sign. Okay. So, like, I was just thinking if you. So now I have minus 3x by 25x square minus 3x minus 5x. So if we have infinity by infinity form, should we apply our trick over here?
yes, sir.
Okay, so great. We should apply our trick. So obviously, if I apply my trick, what should I take out in the numerator? Direct minus 3x. What about denominator? Now it is getting little bit serious, I guess. So I should take out square root of 25x square, right? And then I have a minus 5x over there. So the numerator will remain as it is, minus 3x. Square root of 25x square will be 5x and minus 5x. So this thing has turned to 0.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. So minus 3x by 0.
Not defined.
Not defined. Okay. Not defined is my answer. Everyone. Not defined is my answer to this question, right?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Think. Again, think about
Sir,
the property
something
of
by
square root.
0 minus 3x.
Okay. So like, think about the property of square root of x. What was the property of square root? What values does it return? If I have square root of 5, if you remember relations and functions chapter, anyone remembers relations and functions? Okay, so see, square root is a function. Okay, I have a function like this. So if I input it one value of x, let me assume I take the value of x as 4. Earlier, the square root used to give me two values, okay, plus minus square root of 4. So that is plus minus 2. But when we were studying relations and functions, I had told you one thing, that my function can only return me one value, okay? I hope you all remember this. I had shown it like a container. You send in the value of x, you get the value of y. So for every value of x, you can get only one value of y out. Is it correct, everyone? So all of you
Yes.
remember that your square root function can only return positive values. Remember, everyone? Remember
Yes, sir.
or don't remember? So if I am taking square root of 25x square, now I will need to apply a modulus to it. Or rather, you can say that we can take 5x, correct? Its answer
Positive
can
and
be either 5 or minus 5, whichever of these is positive. Okay. You can only take that value, when you are taking square root of 25x square, you can either take 5x or you can take minus 5x, depending on whichever of these is positive. So in this case, is 5x positive or is minus 5x positive?
Minus 5x.
Minus 5x is
Right,
positive.
because x is minus infinity. X is tending to minus infinity. So your 5x will go to minus infinity, but your minus 5x will go to infinity. So yes, this one is positive. So I will be taking this case and ignoring this one. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Got it, everyone? Why I'm taking minus 5x and I am not taking 5x? So this one will go for minus 5x and then we have a minus 5x. So we have got minus 3x divided by minus 10x. So my final answer, 3 by 10.
By
Okay, 3 by 10. Correct, everyone? Let us do just one last question before going. So you have limit h tends to 0. Did you celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi yesterday?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Like I'm not very sure that if you do in Telangana, you are in Telangana, right? Or Andhra?
Yes, sir. Telangana.
Telangana. Okay. So I don't know if you celebrate there or that is why I just asked. Okay, so I have 1 by h into 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3 minus 1 by 2h. Which form is this, first of all? Like it is very simple to say it is infinity by infinity form only. Let us see if we can see it is infinity by infinity form. If you want to convert, like just check it, just plug in the values of h as 0. Okay, so I have 1 by 0 into 8 plus 0. 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 to the power of 1 by 3. What is 8 to the power of 1 by 3?
2, sir.
8. Okay, correct. 2 minus 1 by 2 into 0. So obviously 1 by 0 minus 1 by 0. So infinity by minus infinity. Right? Correct, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So infinity minus infinity confirmed. So if it is infinity minus infinity, I will have to take, like, do something. So I can take 1 by h common. So if I take 1 by h common, it will be 1 minus 8 plus h 1 by 3 uh, minus 1 by 2. So I can send it that side and get it common in the denominator. So I'll get 2 minus 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3 whole divided by 2 into 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3. Right? Is this correct, everyone? Is this
Yes.
correct?
Yes,
No,
sir.
it is correct. Yeah, you don't answer. So I feel I am doing a mistake somewhere. So 2 minus 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3 whole divided by 2h into 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3. Now, how do you solve this thing? I know, like, it is a little bit tough. It is little bit tough for you to guess, actually. Which form is this, first of all?
Sir, infinity by infinity form.
Shabash. Shabash, beta. No, it is not infinity by infinity form.
0 by 0.
Thing, correct. It is 0 by 0 form. See, that is why I was telling you. Sometimes instead of, like, if you have infinity divided by infinity form, it can be converted to 0 by 0 also. Why? Because see, I'll just show you this thing. If you have something like x by y, okay, it can be written as 1 by y divided by 1 by x, right?
Yes, sir.
Is this correct? So if your x and y both are tending to infinity, okay, I'm assuming that your x and y both are tending to infinity. So what will happen? Where is your 1 by y going to?
Infinity.
Where is your 1 by y? 1 by y is going to infinity. If your y is
0,
going
sir.
to infinity, 1 by y will go to 0, right? And where will your 1 by x go to? It will also go to 0, right? So see, that is why infinity divided by infinity form can be written as 0 by 0 form in some cases. So great. So instead of solving for infinity by infinity form, now you need to solve for 0 by 0. How would you do it? You need to solve for 0 by 0 form. How would you do it? Tell me. Arey, 0 by 0, yaar. Why are you getting so much confused? It is 0 by 0 form only, na? So how should you solve for 0 by 0 form? That is what I am asking. Okay, fine. You can take it as homework. 0 by 0 form we have done so many times. Like 0 by 0 was so common. We have solved it. We have solved many questions of 0 by 0, right? No one remembers. Vignesh, Bhavna, Gayatri, Sravani. Have we solved 0 by 0 forms earlier or not solved?
Yes, sir.
We have solved, right? So if we
Yes.
have solved 0 by 0 form, why should this question be an issue? So fine, you can try it at home. And if need arises, look at the previous notes. But I guess 0 by 0 form should be really simple for you. Okay, great. So that's it for today. Any doubt? Any, any doubts? Okay, fine. So, okay, great. That's it.